Friday's blessings, everyone. I'm going to go off my normal track. I'm actually responding to Philip again. And usually when I respond to Philip, it's regarding gay issues, but we're going to go political today. Um, Philip was discussing about the high prices and how gas is getting not only ridiculous, but is just choking the life out of the United States. It really is out of businesses, and out of businesses are the employees of those businesses. Now the thing is that he was saying, we need to turn our attention to alternative fuels to run our vehicles. We need to turn our attention to buying more fuel effective vehicles and all that stuff. And you know what? He's right. But I don't know if he just didn't mention this or if he was not aware of this. But the thing is that did you know that we have the technology to have an all-electric car? That we have the technology to have a solar car? The best that we have available to us are the hybrid cars. And why is that, people? It's not because we don't have the technology for something to run better than a hybrid car and cheaper. It's because the Middle East has us by the balls right now. Okay? The Middle East has us by our short and curlies right now. And the thing is that it's not the Middle East doing this to us. We are doing this to ourselves. They may have our short and curlies, but we're the ones that put it squarely in their hands. Why? Because of our greed. Now, Philip said, I'm not saying that I'm not a capitalist, because I am. Well, you know what? Me too. But that doesn't mean that I have to be a patriot and stand by our country killing itself. It is squarely on our oil companies and our greed. If you're a politician and you have gotten high enough to be running for the President of the United States, you are corrupt enough to be taking bribes and looking out for the special interest of things like the oil companies. Both McCain and Obama have their ways of dealing with this, but they know it's not going to be nearly as effective or even effective at all if they don't get their head out of their asses and their hands out of the pocketbooks of the oil companies. How sad is it that we have that America has its balls squarely in the hands of Iraq and Iran? And how sad is it that we are the ones that placed it there? And if we continue on, we're giving them the Baltine hammer to smash them. Why? Because we are greedy motherfuckers. We had, back in the 60s, the technology for an electric car. And we even had electric cars out for a very brief time. But of course the oil companies made sure to smash that. The only thing that made them a real pain in the ass is there was no place for them to be plugged in. Well, at the time I lived in California, and in a select few parking lots, there were parking spaces for electric cars. And, I think the handicap spaces outnumbered those. And you parked in there, and you charged your car. Okay, you want to make money off of it? Fine. Don't put them in the parking lots. Put them in the gas stations. It's not that hard. Sure, it's going to require an investment, but you know what? So did diesel fuel. But you see diesel and gas at gas stations all the time. Why can't there be a place to plug in? Why? Because America, the Americans fall into two categories. The sheep that are not aware politically of what's going on. These people tend to be very frightened of change and end up putting the power, or all of their power, into the hands of the Americans that do know what's going on, i.e. the politicians. But those people are so fucking corrupt, it's not even funny. We can't have a democracy and a great government without the without the bullshit going on. And we're killing ourselves for it. I'm seeing America's greatest enemy is not being Osama bin Laden. It's not being Afghanistan or Pakistan or Iran or Iraq. Our greatest enemy is ourselves. Our greedy, corrupt selves. The oil companies are gouging the fuck out of everyone in this country, including our businesses, our big business and our little businesses. And what does that mean? That means we start jacking the prices up. And what does that mean? It means that we have to start laying off people. You know, I've seen a lot of snowball effects in this country, but never one so huge and obvious. Sometimes with snowball effects you have to read about it and say, oh, I see what's going on here. If you look away and you're not really particularly looking for what's going on, you won't necessarily see a snowball effect. But this one is so huge and obvious. I mean, it's like looking at, you know, the waves of the ocean. Well, if this snowball effect was about as big as the waves in the ocean, this would be a fucking tsunami. And we are doing it to ourselves. Why don't we take McCain and Obama and get them to realize they need to stop being so scared about what people are thinking and actually do with this country what needs to be done? What about the people who own diesel trucks and diesel vehicles? They can make their own fucking fuel at this point in time. You know, there's a website to go to, and I don't know the website. You can look it up on a search engine if you want. But you know what? They rent the equipment, or they sell it, either which way. And they show you instructions on how to make your own damn diesel fuel. I know that you need oil, you know, used oil from a restaurant. Make sure it's not, there's not any lard in there, just plain old oil. You could probably get that for free because it's a win-win situation. They don't have to pay anyone to haul it off. But then again, you have to go to the store and buy some lye. And there's a few other ingredients that you need. They show you how to mix it up. They have all the equipment there. Everything is measured for you. All you need is some time and to get off your fat American asses. And yes, I know I'm fat and all that stuff, but you know what? I'm doing something. I'm doing what I can to help this country get itself back on its feet. Okay? And you know what? You'll get the oil companies going, no, 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 it doesn't perform and all that stuff. You know what? They tested it on this truck. They drained all the fuel out of the truck. And they filled it up with the fuel that they made. And do you realize that this truck performed beautifully? In fact, the people driving it said it performed better than it had since they first got it. So it actually increases performance, it's cheaper, it burns cleaner, and you don't have to buy it from some fucking Arab company or even our blood-sucking oil companies. No, you don't. So all those people who own diesel vehicles, that's how you can take a bite and do something to make yourself stronger as citizens and then make our country stronger. And you know, the company that makes this, it's all American, baby, right here in the good old US of A. So you're supporting America that way too. So I want people to start opening their eyes and demanding that whoever is elected president of the United States do what really needs to be done. Thank you. Blessed be.